A lot of this is made up. Give yourself a little space to breathe. It is okay. We romanticize the holidays, which is fine.
Mistletoe.
But it's also important for us to remember that as sweet as the holidays can be, they're also statistically the most stressful time of the year. Today, what I am going to be teaching you is how you can reduce your stress by talking about the most common stressors during the holidays and practical ways for you to be able to handle them with ease and to continue to be as jolly as you want to be or not. There is no pressure for how you act or how you feel during the holidays. And this is important. We will not be talking about the things that are outside of your control. Your friends who are flaky but lovable are going to continue to be flaky but lovable. Your family that is overbearing but well-meaning will continue to be overbearing. We are going to talk about the ways in which you can control your experience whilst the world goes about its business in the way that it just will. Number one, expectations. The holidays are the number one feeling sorry for ourselves time of year for so many reasons. We have these big ideas about where we're gonna be during the holiday season. We see all of these picture perfect ads of what the holidays are supposed to look like and smell like and taste like and feel like. And if we don't see our lives matching up to what we're seeing, start to feel bad for ourselves, maybe even start to judge ourselves. This is your wake-up call right now, lovingly, gently, firmly reminding you that a lot of this is made up, that many of us feel this way. It's a very common shared experience to feel like your life isn't where you wanted it to be during the holidays, that it's not matching up to the Hallmark special. That does not mean that there is anything wrong with you. That does not mean that you are doing life wrong. Give yourself a little space to breathe. It is okay. Do the things to take care of yourself during the season, and there is no wrong way to feel. Number two, the holidays will stir things up, especially if you're going to be around family.
Take a look around you, Ellen. We're at the threshold of hell.
Think of it this way. Our family are the people who installed the triggers that you have within you. So you better believe that some people are going to be pushing some buttons. No matter how well-meaning, no matter how loving, this is just how it goes. And so for you, the best thing that you can do is to take care of yourself, especially if you are going to be staying with family. You want to make sure that you take a moment to take a walk. Take a break. Shut the door to the bathroom or the room that you're in and take a few deep breaths. Use this as an opportunity to remind yourself you are okay, you're an adult, you've got this, you've got you. Even if you say them out loud as you take some deep breaths, it might sound silly. There's a part of you that feels like you're right back where you were when you were a kid, and it can bring up a sense of helplessness or smallness, and reminding yourself and grounding yourself, reminding yourself who you are is powerful. The holidays also naturally bring up mortality. For many of us, we go into a holiday missing someone or multiple people who used to be at the table with us or there with us, whether it's a family member or a pet. It can just shine a light on what's missing. Giving yourself a little bit of space to allow yourself to process that, to not override it, to not make it wrong. Just a natural part of our experience and life. And it can actually even be really healing and really sweet to intentionally honor those people if that feels right to you. So that might mean just bringing a photograph with you of the person or the pet that's not there anymore, or just keeping them in your thoughts, kind of connecting with them mentally, spiritually throughout the day. These are things that can really help you to not tuck it away or pretend like it's not there or make yourself feel jolly when you're not feeling jolly, but to just really ground into the truth of how you're feeling, which can actually help you move through it more quickly. Also brings up mortality because as we get towards the end of the year, we hit this yearly milestone of New Year's. And when New Year's comes up, it's a natural reflection point. Everyone is thinking about where they were the year before, where they thought they'd be by now, where they thought they'd be by this age. When we think about age, all of a sudden we think about death. All of a sudden there's all this pressure, and you might not even recognize that this is what's happening within you, but it can all be really connected and snowball within us. Just take a step back. Recognize if that's what's happening for you, that's what's happening. So when we accept where we are, that doesn't mean that we don't make change. It just means that we forgive ourselves so that we have more energy to make the change that we want to. So once you recognize where you are, if you want to make change, great. Number 3, our routines and habits go completely out of whack. Maybe it's because we have time off, or we're back home with family and we have a totally different schedule. Maybe some of us are used to eating really healthy and then we end up eating more sugar.
Christmas cookie?
Or maybe we drink more than we normally would. And all of these things can impact our hormones and how we feel, and even going to bed later can have an impact. So when you have all these different stressors that you're putting on your body, when I say stressor, it doesn't have to be a big deal. It doesn't have to be some big thing, but all of these can accumulate to make you feel a little bit off, not quite your best. So just recognizing that and seeing how you can support yourself and your health and your mental health while still enjoying yourself. That doesn't mean that you don't go indulge or you don't do the things, but for example, if you're having more sugar, there are things that you can do, like making sure that you're drinking enough water, having apple cider vinegar before you have sugar, or making sure that you're having vegetables before you eat a bunch of dinner rolls, candy or cake or whatever it is that you're having. Things that can help to stabilize your blood sugar can be really, really supportive, because blood sugar, in addition to all the things they can do for weight and things like that, has a really big impact on your brain and your energy levels and your mood. You can check out Glucose Goddess. She has so many different illustrations like this that show you the impacts of how you eat in the order that you eat can really impact the way that you feel and the way that your body feels. Number 3, we get out of our normal habits and routines. This might mean that we're going to bed later, or maybe we're with family and we're eating differently than we normally would. Maybe we have more sugar or more alcohol, less sleep, less exercise. All of these things, in addition to all the other stressors that we've already talked about, can really accumulate. And it's not like it's some big deal and that we have to make sure that we stick staunchly to our routine. But it helps to acknowledge the reality that if we're going to change our diet, if we're going to have more sugar, more alcohol, things like that that can impact our hormones, it will impact the way that we feel, and we might not feel our best. And that can be helpful to notice, because if you're having a little bit of an internal crisis and you're wondering, why am I feeling this way? It might be because some of these stressors like this, and it's not going to be a lifelong thing that you need to worry about. And it can also help you to make any kinds of small adjustments. You don't have to bow out of going out and having a nice late night out, or having a nice piece of cake, or whatever you want to do. Choosing the ones that are most important to you, or you can make small adjustments that allow you to be able to eat the things that you want to eat with the least amount of impact possible. One of the things that I've been doing over the past year is I've been following along with Glucose Goddess. She has this Instagram account, I'll link it in the description, where she has these diagrams that show you the impact of the order in which you eat the foods you eat. So one of the hacks that she teaches is, if you're going to eat, say, a piece of cake, then beforehand you might want to have either apple cider vinegar or some vegetable beforehand. If you're going to have a sweet, it's better for you to have it at the end of a meal where you're eating vegetables and protein and fat than it is for you to just have it in the middle of the day. Little things like that, where you're not necessarily cutting things out, you're just changing the way in which you're eating things so that you don't have so much of an impact on our mental health. Because when our blood sugar is spiking up and down because we're having a little chocolate, having a peppermint mocha, my favorite, all of a sudden we start to feel a little bit crazy after all the ups and downs. This can really help to mitigate that. Number 4 is what's called shifting set. I was reading this Harvard article and they were talking about what's called shifting set. That's basically what your brain is doing when you're multitasking, because as you may already know, there is no such thing as multitasking. switching. There's just however fast we can task switch. So when you're task switching, it's pretty stressful on your mind and your body and your energy levels. And we do it all year long, but we especially do it during the holidays just because there's so much crammed into a tight period of time. So what can we do about this? Well, one thing you can do is you can see what you're doing because you have to do it, because you want to do it, or because you just feel some pressure or obligation, but you don't really need to be doing it. Seeing if you can take any of those things off of your plate, maybe delegate, maybe someone can help you with something. You can batch things. So rather than switching between tasks all day long, batching them all together, doing all of one thing at a time so that you don't have to ping pong back and forth so much. Number 5, self-judgment. This might actually be number 1 as far as the importance and the weight that it holds. When we judge ourselves, it just makes our anxiety skyrocket and it becomes this snowball. It just feeds itself. As much as you can, releasing the judgment around where you should be or how you should have reacted or all the ways that you might feel like you're being judged by people that you're coming in contact with, all these different things, letting it go, taking care of yourself, taking time for yourself, being kind to yourself. You can do all the things you want to do coming into this new year in 2024, but I'll tell you what, you'll be able to do it so much better with so much more ease if you're coming from a full cup, from a great baseline. In order to do that, you really have to be kind to yourself now. If you want more support around this, grab my free stress reduction cheat sheet in the description. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe, let's connect, keep in touch, all the things. I am here for you all seasons, and I'm especially here for you now. See you in the next video.